Okay, here we go. So we are live. So what we're going to do today, we haven't got a community call on today. It's a bi-weekly format. So what I wanted to do is we've had a crazy week in the market and with YieldLabs and so much to tell everyone about. We've been kind of dropping everything in the Telegram chat and on Twitter, and it's just distributed about everywhere. So let's do a consolidated weekly roundup. Any of the team are welcome to join if they want, but I can handle it if not. So we're all good. Let me just share my screen and then we'll jump straight into some Bitcoin analysis. So hello everyone in the chat. Thank you for joining. Please feel free to interact with the session. I put some comments there and we'll come onto those later on. So here we go. All right, first of all, let's take a look at Bitcoin and the overall market from the monthly perspective, just because we've had some crazy price action and it's kind of, let's try and put some rationality on kind of what's been going on over the last few weeks. So as I said, this is the monthly perspective on Bitcoin. I think the further we zoom out, the more bullish this kind of market looks at the moment. As you can see, on the last 4 months, we've got strong buy pressure on these buy up candles, on these wicks, almost hammer candles for the last 2 months as well. So absolutely crazy support and price action around the $30,000 level. I personally didn't foresee this kind of $30,000 level holding to this extent, but I think you can't argue with, and I thought that we might be in for a bit more of an aggressive pullback, hence why I've kind of got this green box here as kind of a crash landing and accumulation zone. But that's kind of wishful thinking. I know that we never really get what we want in terms of in markets. So yeah, three crazy support candles, and a monthly perspective, we look like we're about to break out or have broken out of this consolidation pattern. So if we just drill into the weekly slightly, you can see the picture does change ever so slightly as we drill in. So it's very important to respect the higher time frames at all times, because they usually give us an indication as to where things are going. So you can see I kind of have these two green boxes are the kind of my areas of interest. And I think this sloping support line is very important in terms of just overhead resistance or short-term overhead resistance. The biggest resistance for me was the 20-week moving average. This is a weekly a chart on Bitcoin. So we have cleanly broken. It looks like we're going to close above that, but I think this is a very sensitive area short term. As we looked on the monthly, I think the trend for the overall bull market is intact, but for the short term, medium term, it's kind of how that plays out is kind of what we're discussing now. And if you're a long term holder, it doesn't really matter. Just dollar cost average over a long time, and you'll be fine. But it kind of, everyone's interested in the short term. So I think what I'm looking for now is a decision on this area. Are we going to either bust out this range, and we are, how much we've gone up, probably 50% from the lows. What are we at? 60%, and at the peak we were 60%. So this is a crazy run on Bitcoin. When we exhaust and where we exhaust, who knows? We also have what's very interesting is we have the 50 and the 20-week moving average really pinching together into this kind of either death or golden cross scenario. So let's see what happens. The 3 dots are the next 3 weeks of price action predicted. So in terms of the moving average, where it's going to go. So this is very critical area, I would say. A lot of people say we've broken out already. I don't believe we have broken out already, but I think this looks absolutely amazing from a bullish perspective. And just short term, be cautious on kind of if you're not able to sleep and allocating capital here and then a little bit of a pullback, maybe to 35, 36, then maybe be patient and wait for the confirmed breakout rather than trying to guess. But if you're a long-term holder, then no problem at all. Dollar cost average anywhere under the all-time highs with your strategy, and I think it's all looking good. So let's just put this back on auto. Let's go into the daily, so you can just start to see as we drill in one after another, and I'll explain what some of these boxes are. They're just kind of for my own strategy. So you can kind of see crazy off the bottom, the 29,000, we ran up to nearly 43,000, a pullback. Everyone thought it was over, including me. and then off we go again. So we can kind of see, indecision around this zone. Let's see how it plays out. I think Sundays are sometimes interesting as well. A lot of people take that off. So let's see if there's any anything, any skullduggery or messing around today. And then let's see where the weekly closes. And then I think if we hold this zone and we do consolidate and try to push higher, this is extremely, extremely bullish. And these are my 2 points where I'm interested in applying capital. I'm not interested in kind of, I do have a long-term hodl position, but I kind of add to that position. I'm waiting for these two breakout areas. So let's just check Ethereum before we move on with some other updates. How are we looking here? Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, awesome chart in terms of this huge breakout from the pandemic lows. Nice back test, almost like a perfect back test of the previous cycle all-time high. Anyone that kind of picked up here, well done. And in terms of moving averages and support, this chart is looking extremely, extremely bullish. So dollar cost average into Ethereum, if that's something you're interested in, wait for the breakout, apply more capital, all valid strategies. Everybody has their own strategy, but this is much, much, much more bullish in terms of posture and kind of technical fundamentals from than Bitcoin. But obviously Bitcoin is the king, and that kind of dictates what is going to happen elsewhere. So let me just go into the chat. Let's take a few comments before we move on. Let's see who we've got. Okay, we got the usual. Hi, Richard. Hi, Gemma. Donald, I've not spoken to you before, but thank you very much for joining. Look, fairly new to crypto. 8 months is not an awful lot of time, but well done. You're absorbing and you're here every day. So congratulations. I'm sure you're going to do just fine. Celsius and Luna and YieldLabs, yeah, not bad plays, especially if you're earning the first two with dollars and you're not actually purchasing the asset and creating any extra risk in your portfolio. So Luna extremely bullish as well. Should we just check? We'll check on Luna just before we move on as well. Yeah, and you got to love this rabbit hole. All right, so let's jump straight into. I'll go back on screen share and we'll jump straight into kind of the weekly activities and kind of what's going on out here with YieldLabs. So like I said, we'll just check Luna first. Where is it? Luna. Too many assets on here. There we go. Yeah, Luna's absolutely just a ridiculous chart, really. It's very hard to kind of put any rationale on this, but the same sort of stair-step pattern. This is a daily chart. Crazy run off the lows back in November. Congratulations to anyone who bought that. Anything under $1 was an absolute steal. And parabolic run, stair-step pattern. This was the May dip and a lot of liquidations on Anchor. Anyone who purchased in here, bravo. And then we've kind of had this explosive breakout. It looks like we're going to break out to all-time highs. A lot of this at least have one run at this upper resistance band. So anybody that managed to accumulate any Luna in these zones, congratulations. If you're staking them, there's a lot of airdrops on offer. If you don't want to stake and you don't want the 21-day withdrawal lockup, then I think there's a lot of upwards appreciation in the asset. But obviously, this is not financial advice. Where can we go? The sky's the limit, basically, once we break that. And it's a lot of different assets that I'm kind of seeing approaching all-time highs and potential breakouts. So these are the types of areas that I'm interested in. I'd rather buy a breakout than accumulate just my personal strategy, just because I have allocations in the market already. So I saw one alarm going off a minute ago on Solana. That's approaching all-time highs. Not a Solana expert by any means, but this chart's extremely bullish at the moment. So let's see if we get a rejection or we continue higher. So let's jump into some of this action this week, basically. So Pylon Network, which is Pylon Gateway, sorry, which is it's a crowdfunding and token launch platform on Terra. I don't think many people know about this. So I just wanted to highlight this. There's a lot of activity going on this platform this week. So you can basically what you can do here is participate in pools to basically with UST. And obviously all of that UST that's participating in the pools is kind of adding the buy pressure on the Luna token, hence why it's going up. And then you can effectively mine or farm or whatever you want to call it, these new launched assets. So what has gone on this week? So on the 13th, we had, which was 2 days ago, we had the Loop launch, and Loop's, there's various options here in terms of, let me just go into the Loop. Let me go into the Loop. There we go. The Loop Loop offering. So there's 3 pools. You can kind of invest or vest or stake or whatever you want to call it, UST, which is a stable coin on the Terra platform, and basically farm yourself or mine yourself a position in these tokens. So you can see there's nearly $5 million worth of capital locked in this. There's a token distribution schedule at a vesting period. So obviously the longer you vest that money for or invest that money for, the higher the APY. And then after 3 months, you're able to claim the reward. So I think this Loop is a cool project. DEX on Terra, obviously it's a competitor to TerraSwap. It has different functionality in terms of usable with different assets. I think what's very meaningful with Loop is that when you hold the Loop token or stake the Loop token, you're actually able to capture transaction fees on the platform. And I think any of these assets like this, where you're basically able to generate revenue off the success of or you're kind of buying a stake in the volume of the exchange, are very attractive. Obviously, do your own research. This is not a proven platform. It's not even built yet. So, and we're going to be doing some interviews this week with the Loop team, basically asking them some of the tough questions on kind of volumes and what they can expect and features. They have a Loop wallet, which is being built. Lots of capabilities on this. If this all comes to fruition, utilizing the Terra Station apps, lots of just features, and it could be really cool. So basically, using dollars via the Pylon network to accumulate risk on assets, which is really cool. So this is the importance of holding stablecoins in the portfolio. You're able to effectively mint positions in these things, which are speculative for the longer term and without adding any risk. And obviously, at the end of the vesting period, you kind of get your investment back into whatever you put in there. So really cool. The quicker you get into these pools, the more you can kind of pull out. And then obviously these APRs are quite deceiving, because it's kind of APR on not on the investment that you put in, but in kind of percentage of the pool in terms of like whatever's in there, 20 million, and it's going to be distributed. So how much of the pool are you getting? And it's kind of APR in token rather than APR in dollar value, because the Loop token isn't listed anywhere and doesn't have a value yet. So you basically gonna, the worst case, you just get your money back. That's probably never going to happen, just in case of worst case, because the token's always going to have a value above 0. So you're going to be able to accumulate quite a lot of returns just on a dollar position, and that obviously helps the Terra network as well. So yeah, rewards are claimable after 3 months, and they're on a schedule of distribution. So after 3 months, you'll start to get tokens that you can either sell or do whatever you want with. So really cool. What else is on Pylon coming up? They have their own token mine. Won't cover that one here. Those pools are live with decent APRs now. And Nebula and Terra World. I'm really interested in this Terra World. I think it's really cool. It's kind of a metaverse where you can basically, they're building kind of a co-working space inside of a metaverse. It's really cool. So something to watch. This one comes out on the 22nd. So if you can get into these pools earlier, or this one, you're able to buy some of the asset as well. I think it's 5,000 UST's worth of the token at the same time. So check all these things out. The Terra network is really cool. a lot going on here, and we're just basically trying to break this down. Check our YouTube channel here, where we have playlists and tutorials on how to deal with these things. We're going to be especially Anchor and different things, and we have a whole ecosystem overview here. So we're going to be diving deeper, adding pylon gateway kind of tutorials and everything as we go. So hopefully build out a full suite of tutorials and just learning material, so you can do what you want with your own investments. We're not telling you what to do, and just provide you with the information and the breakdown on how this looks. Let's have a look at the comments. Anything on this before we move on? Always bring in the info. That is standard. So thank you very much. And 100%. So this is a problem. You need to have a lot of capital in these markets or use it wisely. There's just so many options, and kind of that's part of the trick. You have to kind of know where to put it, what proportion to put it in, and everything else. And this is a timely comment. We're going to come onto this one in a minute. Anchor is absolutely crazy. And they have a lot of updates, and we're going to cover that in a minute. So let's go back onto the share. Sorry, I'm juggling this all on one screen, and there's nobody to help me. My fault for not really organizing anyone to help me. So just bear with me while I switch this around. So I think what else was cool this week? So as you know, the community know, we kind of proponents of Bank to the Future. We don't, well, nobody we actually work with on a paid basis. We just kind of promote what we see as meaningful and tools and facilities that can help build revenue streams and sound investments in the future. And Bank to the Future is really cool. It's a platform where you can basically, for those who don't know, you can basically invest in up and coming platforms that need funding. You invest through their vehicle, and we're going to be doing modules and different things on Bank to the Future specifically. But this one came up this week. This was a 48-hour priority deal. So if you have 10,000 Bank to the Future tokens, which I think is about $250, sub $300, you basically got 48 hours to jump on this one, which is really cool. We've done a deep dive, or not a deep dive, but a kind of overview with the CEO here in this video. If you want to check that one out, that one went live today. And this is a recap, which is basically something I'd used a long time ago to help with taxes. And you can basically connect all of your APIs through your exchange into this recap software, and it works out a tax, whatever you owe, basically. So you can see on the website here, take control of your cryptocurrency, and this is it's a very slick dashboard, and you're able to kind of generate a tax report, and it basically works out your losses, what you bought, what you sold, all your taxable events, and it's kind of UK and US centric. They have great documentations on here, and I'll give you a referral code if you want to use it, which gives you 20% off it as well. And anyone can generate one of those themselves if they want to. So yeah, we're not affiliated with these by any means, but it's just a very good platform. They work with the HMRC in the UK, and it's very slick. And you can basically invest in them here on the Bank to the Future platform. Very low valuation, and it has potential and it has meaning. So why do I say that? So you can see that kind of the fund, they're not raising an awful lot of money. I think this was speaking with the CEO, Dan. He's basically trying to let community in first, which I think is very nice. I think this has potential in terms of future valuations, and we'll come on to that in a minute. So if you factor that in, it's very nice that they've it's a healthy allocation that they've given for a reasonable price. Obviously, this is software, and it doesn't have kind of the mega multipliers of some sort of financial tool like Celsius or FV Bank, as some of the ones we featured before, but it also doesn't have all of the bureaucracy and regulation and just baggage basically that goes with that, and waiting for IPO processes and different things. I think this is a very easy integration, and you can see this is filling up very fast. It's only been live for 48 hours. Let's have a look where we're at. Let's give it a refresh. Yeah, 81%. So this is probably going to fill out pretty soon. So why? And then they have, if you go on the platform, I'm not going to show all of this because it's kind of to do with the platform and you have to sign up. But if you can get accredited on this platform, then you can kind of look into their pitch decks, and there's tons of information here. And why was I interested in this? So first of all, good product, nice team. And second of all, there isn't too many, well, there's a few popping up now, but there isn't any platforms that kind of focus around the privacy element. So I think the main differentiator with Recap is basically its privacy. So when you do connect APIs to exchanges to kind of work out your tax position, other companies will take that data and do whatever they want with it, sell it to hedge funds, trade against you, sell the data, whatever they want to do, they can do with that data, understand customer habits, and kind of, it's very powerful data basically. So the whole USP on Recap is basically the privacy element for a start, and then I think kind of the way that it can be built into a wealth management tool as well in the future. And there's just infinite scope really, and infinite jurisdictions. And I think tax software, once we kind of see regulators move in and clampdowns, is going to be very meaningful, because I don't think too many people really want to tackle this problem now. Recap does make it very easy in terms of just giving you a report. And I think if you generate a report connected to your exchanges, you're way ahead of just the masses basically. So you can see that this is another competitor, and I don't think this one has a privacy element. TaxBit, they've raised 130 million at a 1.33 billion valuation, which is absolutely nuts. Let's go back to this valuation. You can see, you can work this out yourself. It's basically a very, very attractive valuation, and the potential, I don't believe personally, and I am known for kind of being on the low side of valuations, and I kind of do that intentionally, just so I don't ever set expectations that I kind of won't hit. I'd rather be wrong to the upside than wrong to the downside. So I think 100, 150 million valuations are sensible or achievable, depending on feature set and kind of build out and different things on how they go about it. You can see here's another example of kind of similar sorts integration, exit strategy. FTX just bought Blockfolio, which was a nice account, kind of tool to basically monitor your portfolio and different things. It didn't have tax or something, but it's just showing that these are the types of valuations just for an application basically that most people use to track, and it has news feeds and different things. The FTX swooped in and purchased this one, integrate it very easily. And I think this is the type of thing that's going to happen with these tax bits. And I think exchanges and players like that basically will want to integrate a tax solution, keep it all in-house. So I think this is a little bit of a sleeper, and some people are going to overlook it just because it is software, opposed to owning pure infrastructure in something like a Celsius or an FB Bank. But I think it's very meaningful, and I think it fits into my portfolio very nicely. I think and size it accordingly if it's something that you like the look of. So I was very attracted because I'd used it and I really enjoyed the user experience. They do integrate with, when I used it, they didn't integrate with Celsius. They now integrate with Celsius too. So we can't start to see kind of the build out of how this is going to go, and just to be able to plug these things in, work out a tax position, submit that. I think that is really, really good. So let's just have a look if we've got any questions on that before we move along. Probably not, because nobody wants to talk about taxes. Look at that. Yeah, first time catching the live show. Yeah, this is the first live show, so well done. We're going to do some more of these as well. We're going to get more guests on, a lot of different things. We're thinking about kind of run the community call in this format as well. So let's see how we go. I think we're just trying out different formats, and let's see what works. So any Bank to the Future investment projects for US citizens, we have to be in credit invested. Yeah, this is one of the problems with the Bank to the Future platform, or not problems, but they kind of for people in the US, you have to be accredited. So what does accredited mean? It's basically you need 1 million in the, I think it's in the bank or savings, and you need a $200,000 salary, or I think $300,000 salary joint, and that's with your partner, and then that's excluding your house. So that's a big barrier to entry, and I'm sure there's other things as well. And then I think even then you're only limited to 99 slots or 100 slots on these kind of pitches. So it's very, very difficult. So I don't have any answers for that. Try and get accredited if you can. Try and pull together. I don't know what to do if you're American. I'm not American. Obviously it's a great place to live and there's benefits to live in there, but it is very difficult to access these deals. So I do feel for you. So look at this one. Bank to the future can take a while to get validated. Absolutely. Yeah, it's clunky. Yeah, it's annoying. Yes, support tickets. Yes, all of the above. But I'm very grateful for the opportunity. I think to be able to wake up. Somebody wrote a tweet. It was one of the community today, Aaron. He said basically he woke up this morning and he bought a piece of a tax software company by an hour later after eating his breakfast or whatever he said. And I'm like, that's amazing. If you are set up with these things, you can just invest. You invest with Tether or Bitcoin or whatever you invest, and then you're getting involved once you're accredited. So I think these are it is an amazing platform if you can access it. Yeah. So yeah, US people have to be accredited. And yeah, I think like even I've talked about this, and this is definitely not financial advice, but I think even just put in the minimum into each of one of these Banks of the Future products pitches, good, bad, or ugly. I think you're probably going to get 2 out of 10 right. And in this industry that we're in, it's there's going to be some mega exits, and it's going to be a frenzy. It's very long-term investing. It's very illiquid. There is a secondary market, but don't support, don't back on that happening, and just put money in that you're willing to just forget about, I would say, and that will be the strategy. But obviously not financial advice. Do whatever suits you for your investment style. Everyone wants to forget about taxes. Yeah, that's 100% true. It is difficult. We're trying to basically just educate people on taxes. It's not that difficult. You should pay some taxes. Here's the tools. Let's make it easy and just sleep better at night. None of us came to this kind of space to kind of get rich and then kind of just not sleep at night because we're worried about taxes and stuff. So make sure we pay taxes. Let's make sure everything's done above board, and get an accountant, and they'll be able to help you minimize those taxes in a legal way. No, Celsius I don't think they are behind. I don't even think Celsius know. This recap, they're not really promoting or doing much marketing at the moment. So I think we're going to really help just bridge that gap for them in some way, and we'll try and produce some content on that, basically, which is going to help people that are using these platforms to kind of just understand what their liabilities might be. Great question, Joe. But I'm bored of this question now. It comes when it comes. We have had one round already, Series A, Series B, whenever. Celsius is a victim of its own success. It's getting very big, which is great. It's an amazing growth story. I've really helped promote Celsius a lot over the years, but it's becoming bogged down, I would say, with its own success. It has billions of dollars under management, and it needs to manage that properly, and it needs to look after its obligations. So an equity round will come when it comes. Let's hope it comes this year. And I think there was some I kind of had an idea who that would be, but let's see what happens. That big correction in May might have spooked people, might have slowed things down. Who knows? I know these things take a long time and there's a lot of paperwork, so let's just be patient, I would say, and we will definitely be covering that. We'll try and get Alex on, or some people from Celsius, to basically run through that with us and to deliver that to you. But we are Celsius experts at YieldLabs. We know a hell of a lot about this. We've been here since the white paper of Celsius, so we can basically give you our opinions on valuations and stuff. I'd like to give some opinion on the previous rounds that have gone with some of the offerings that we've invested in, and this recap as well. But I think we'll leave it on this stream. And this is a valid point. Nearly everybody needs this software. That's kind of where I see it. I think even if you don't need it or don't want it, it's going to be forced on you eventually. So I think yeah, it's you know, if you can own a piece of one of these companies, probably going to win. And I think it's small amount of money, and just you know, if it's something you're interested in, you like the piece of software. It doesn't have a token. But I think the company has good potential, and I think there is the gray areas for me, or the kind of things to watch, which there always is with every investment, is kind of the team, because I think they are a strong software dev team, but have they scaled and built businesses before? I've not seen that specifically on their profile, so I think the execution of what they're doing is amazing. I was very, you know, enjoyed using the product. It's very polished, but I think let's see how they scale the business. Let's see how. I think they're going to bring venture capital money in after they let the community in, which will be critical, I think. Let's see if they bring strategic investors. Let's see how it goes. I think it's a fun one to track and follow, and we can use the service at the same time. Let's just switch it back onto screen share. Share. There we go. Yeah, so like, as I said, these are the types of things. We can use these as benchmarks. I don't think recap is in the ballpark of this at the moment, but you know, it's a fraction of the valuation of these types of deals. You can read these things on TechCrunch if you want, and potential of kind of what can happen in the future. All right, so someone mentioned it before, Anchor. It is a beast. This has happened this week. I just switched my Anchor on this week, and there was a nice fresh update. As you can see, this dashboard is really slick now. It was, I think, the UX or the UI on Anchor is always a bit basic, but obviously the interest rates behind this were crazy. So 19.47 on Anchor on dollars, on UST. So this is a meaningful kind of refresh, and just for this just to turn up without anybody kind of announcing it or promising it is really nice. I think this is some of the benefits of DeFi, that basically the devs just get on and deliver stuff, and some of the centralized companies sometimes kind of labor delays and tease things for many months, causing frustration. So yeah, really cool. Lots of statistics and different things in here. Obviously bonded ETH as well. Crazy rates on that as well. Obviously this is the page where you deposit subs. You can get involved in this, but that's really cool on Anchor. And we're going to be doing our next community call on Anchor and having some of the team over, and we're going to really take a deep dive on kind of how this works, some of the technology behind it, and how that looks. I think what's really cool as well is that Anchor is basically on the Terra side fully. So you have to use Terra assets to deposit, and Orion Money this week have announced their private farming, which they've allowed us to be a part of. We can see the YieldLabs logo there, which is really cool. This starts tomorrow, so we're going to be able to participate in providing liquidity as a group to this part of the 70 billion liquidity. We're a piece of this, and we're going to basically get involved in the private farming round, validate the platform. We've already provided our liquidity, and we're just going to enter that pool tomorrow. We'll obviously report on what's going on there. And then once this is finished, people are going to be able to get hold of some Orion, and then you are going to be able to get rates like this. So these are the top platforms. So if anybody doesn't know what it is, it's Orion is on Terra, and it's basically you're able to deposit all of the other assets, the Ethereum assets, so all the traditional stable coins, USDC, USDT, etc. And you can also wrap UST, and then if you have a token, a balance of Orion, you can look at rates like this. So I think these are attractive options compared to basically the centralized options. So obviously we need to do things in a risk managed way, and make sure that we don't And if you don't understand how to use DeFi, don't touch this at all. But these are all nice options for people that can't access the centralized options and want something else to look at. So is there anything else in here to share? I think, and also they're going to have, obviously the gas fees are a big problem at the moment. And I think they're going to have, I couldn't find it in there anyway, but they're basically going to have Polygon integration and Binance Smart Chain as well. So there should be ways to kind of get these gas fees, get the entry fees to enter the savings platform a lot cheaper, basically. So this could be meaningful in terms of a portfolio and generating yield. So it's something we want to track. We're going to do a deep dive session on this on not the next community call, but the one after with the Orion team. They've committed to come on our call. So that's really nice. And you'll be able to ask any questions you want, not to me, but to the team. And they can answer those for you. And I think there's a lot of other products and services, insurance and different things that this Orion platform are trying to build. So I think it's really, really cool, and it's not been built yet. If you go, I think it's orion.money. You can launch the app yourself, and you can connect your wallet and connect your MetaMask wallet or your Coinbase wallet, and then have a look at it. Any questions on this one before we go ahead? Before I crack, this one, I knew one of these would come. Hex, I don't use Hex, but I don't like time locks. I'm not a Hex hater. I actually quite enjoy listening to Richard Hart. I think his content's decent, but not for me. I don't want a time lock, and I like to just have predictability in terms of my my revenue stream. But well done to everybody who used it. I think some of the the user interfaces and things they've built over there is really cool. I think the community is just nuts and amazing. I think a lot of people should take lessons from this community. I saw what they were kind of doing over there, and I wanted to basically replicate some of their ideas, because I think their community was really cool with some of the centralized companies, but they weren't really up for that. So I take inspiration from the Hex community. I think well done, and I think the project is has a mega following. So I think that's one of the main reasons why a lot of its success, the narrative is strong behind Hex, but not something I use personally. You can't use everything, you can't own everything you want to own. So that's just why. What else have we got? Jimmy, good to see you, mate. I'll bring some new timepieces to you soon. Not for this show. And let's move on. Let's move on. So next, steady state. We'll be steady state finance. We'll be doing an interview with these guys. I think it's on Monday, and we're going to bring some of this content to you, just to basically let you know about this platform. It's an DeFi insurance platform. They have a very different mechanism behind how they approach the space, opposed to Nexus and some of the Armor and some of the more well-known offerings, and they're going to be integrated with Yield app. For those of you who've not seen that, so I think it's really could be meaningful. I think check out their Twitter. They've got quite a lot of content on their channel, and I think it's really cool. So we're going to have these guys. We're going to do an interview, bring this to you as just an overview of the platform, and then we can maybe do deep dives in later sessions. So I guess that's kind of it from the roundup of the week. That's just 1 week in YieldLabs, which is a crazy week. I would like it if you could support us and just with subscription to our platform. So Twitter this week, YouTube this week, we've put a lot of content out. We've put community, meet the community with Gemma, which is there. We have another one of those coming next week. So any of the community members that really want to get involved with this platform and kind of come on and tell your story, or just talk with me and share that's fine, or talk with one of the other team. It doesn't have to be me. We've done the recap with the CEO this week. That's really cool. If you don't understand that product or you've not heard of it, so you can just go and listen to him. A lot of tutorials this week. Some of the older content as well has been uploaded, and last week's community call as well. So that's all within a week. There's a ton of stuff coming. As I said, Loop, Steady State, more community, meet the communities. So just so much coming. And I also did an interview with Patrick over at Wave 3. I forgot that one, but that's a really cool one. That's going to be on his channel too. So just so much. Follow our Twitter. Please like and share. Follow our YouTube, and please like and share this one. It really, really does help us out. That's kind of all we ask for the content that we bring you. So I think that's it from kind of this week's roundup. Let's just have a look at the questions. Let's see what there is. If there's anything else, let me know before we kind of wrap up. Let's have a look. What have we got? 100% no FOMO. Make sure you do your due diligence before you kind of jump into any of these things. And obviously come to our Telegram as well. Our Telegram is really, really important. There's a lot of content there for people to kind of come and digest and discuss. And also we set up a liquidity pool for peer-to-peer USDC, USDT kind of stablecoin onboarding. So if people want to swap peer-to-peer with trusted sellers, we have that facility in our Telegram as well. So there's an extension of that. So please join our Telegram group. Check, you'll find that on the YouTube channel, or you'll find it on Twitter. Just ask you'll find it there. It's basically listed, or send a DM. And yeah, there's a lot of really good discussion and high quality people in there. We're really going to expand on that. So let's just see. I think we wrap it up there. Yes, we will. Sorry, I can't answer all the questions, but I think we're going to start just doing these weekly roundups. We're going to get some. We'll get some of the other team on as well, so we can do more in-depth discussion. But I just wanted to basically bring all of that in a condensed format to the community and see how it goes. And this is how it goes. Jimmy, let's finish on that note. The timepieces will come. They are the diversification, and we can all enjoy that and show each other those as well. So yeah, not financial advice, only buy Rolex. Right, I think we leave it there. So thank you very much, everyone. Like, share, and subscribe and follow, and I'll speak to you all soon. Thank you. Have a good weekend, or good start to next week.